DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Draft heads, what is going on? Welcome back to the Key Pass Collective. My name is Joe Williams. I'll be your host here for this particular episode. Key Pass Collective, of course, for those of you who might be virgin listeners, we are the audio companion to the Draft Society website. The Draft Society is your source for all of your rankings, your stats, your articles, everything you're going to need to dominate the Draft Premier League fantasy football game. Head over there, check it out. A bunch of stuff completely for free, but if you're interested in a lot more insider benefits, we do have the inner circle as well that you can join. Now half off completely.
And cue the record screeching sound. Nothing like starting the podcast off with some audio difficulties. Anyway, sorry about that. Apologies. Let's just skip right to the part where I ask Ryan how his game week went.
Yeah, I've been kind of going back and forth. I was down all week. Arsenal didn't do it for me. And then I was facing a bunch of Chelsea DGWers and a City stack, and I needed to thread the needle. And I sold Aspie and decided to go for John Stones and a differential. And it was a masterclass. So I'm actually back in it. It all depends on Fulham and Chelsea. But yeah, hasn't been good for the old ticker. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a little break myself.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Toddy?
I managed to start the game week with a 40-pointer from Mbomo and the Ox.
Okay.
Only to end up losing to our very own Robbie. So congrats, Robbie. Good win. Well done.
Seems heartfelt.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're on the opposite end of mine.
Yeah. I managed to start the game week this is in the other league, but by streaming Konate in a league where I also had Virgil.
Oh, man.
That was... And then, of course, being a Liverpool fan, the whole thing.
Triple whammy.
Yeah. Yep. We're just going to memento that one and forget the old short-term memory. It's all right. It's fine.
Tattoo it.
Yes, hopefully I didn't tattoo that one, but I'll check later.
Konate own goal on your forearm.
Right. Oh, man. Shit. Anyway, all right. Today on the show, like I said, a little bit of a loosey-goosey one, but we're going to just have some fun with it. Do some mid-year / end of year. I mean, it's not the same thing, really, when you think about it, but it also is. End of the calendar year, mid-year fantasy awards, player awards. So we'll keep that tradition alive and give out a couple of awards, including some for things like best waiver wire pickup, worst draft pick, you get it. So we'll talk about some of those. We're going to do a little quick hitter episode or segment of the last straw, and then we'll talk game week 20. Just quickly, who should you think about picking up over this elongated break here to prep yourself for game week 20? So that will be today. Check it out. Hopefully some good stuff in here. Let's start with some end of 2022 / mid-season Premier League / fantasy season awards. So
catchy.
It really rolls off the tongue. It quite does. Yeah.
You guys can come up with the names next time then.
It's fine. It's not a big deal.
Bastards. I helped put together the doc, as you can tell from this little back and forth.
Well, it's okay, Ryan. I like what you've got here, and it looks like first on the docket you've got a set to talk about best waiver wire pickup, which I really enjoy because obviously we make so much of the draft in this game, and this year has been, if nothing else, a year of masterful waiver wire pickups especially if you knew when to hold the guys that you picked up and just kind of like hope and pray and see if they come good, because a damn lot of them did this year. So let's start with Toddy, maybe? Toddy, who is your favorite waiver wire pickup this year?
There are a lot, and there are some really good ones, but two. I want to highlight two who I have myself picked up and used and have been using as highlights of my half season. One is Miggy Almiron. I picked him up in the league that I manage the team with our friend of the pod, Benji Wade, and he's been very kind to us over the course of the beginning of the season. But the crown jewel has to go to one Karo Mitoma. I mean, he is just a perfect waiver wire pickup. He's had the perfect sort of draft society seal of approval. He's taken the steps. He's come on a lot. He's impressed. His minutes were growing. We have been on him, suggesting him to look out for him in streamers. His projections have been steadily going up, and then it all came together.
It really did.
And since then, it's been magic. It's been fire. It's been everything, and even more than what we could have imagined. He's just a perfect streamer.
It's looking more and more like I was a fool to doubt you all ranking him where you did.
What a difference a week makes.
I mean, it's been more than a
near
week.
brace against Arsenal, and then that beautiful goal against Everton. But
I mean,
I could use more ghosts, to be honest.
You could use more ghosts.
Yeah, I hate
it's
to
yet
rain
to
on
be
his
seen,
parade.
Ryan. Yet to be seen, Ryan, whether or not your 29 is too ambitious or not. I still feel like it might be, but
it's the vibes, man.
Certainly, my 66, I think, is at this point done. It's dead in the water. I'm so happy to have him in one league. He's just such a joy to watch on the pitch.
Yeah, he's such a fun player, and like what came out, I think the last couple weeks that he did his dissertation on dribbling. I mean, like, you can't make this shit up.
God,
like,
the best.
Love him.
The best little boy. Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, it's hard to top that one because like Teddy said, it was a perfect storm. We've loved his cameos, charted his progress, said pounce as soon as he gets that first start. As soon as he did, like, I was immediately dropped whoever I had and picked him up. Like, just pounced and haven't looked back. So he's definitely a good one.
He's the 13th. I was looking for how really good he's been.
Yeah,
I haven't looked.
And since his first start, which came on the 28th of October.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised by this. He's the 13th best midfielder, which is not good. Like,
wow.
Like, I mean, it's decent because he has
that's not great at all.
Points per game of 13 and a half, which is great. But players who are ahead of him are in this stretch. So from his first start to now are Pascal Gross, Christian Eriksen, Solly March.
Jesus, Eriksen, really?
Marcus Tavernier. Joe
He hasn't had a
Linton.
monster yet.
He hasn't had a monster yet.
He's been solidly like 9 to 15.
Yeah, but he's been like his worst score since his first start is 8.5.
Yeah.
8.5. But his best is 19.5.
Yeah.
So
He needs a
Mr.
couple
Reliable.
monsters.
Those are like Ward Prowse numbers.
Exactly. If he
Japanese.
keeps this up until the end of the season, he's gonna be a second round pick.
Yeah, for sure.
He's going to be
Yes,
the 29th
since-
most valuable player. To be
Since
exact.
the resumption after the World Cup, he is also 13th, but out of midfielders. Overall, he is 31st. But there's also some players who've just had ridiculous game weeks in there, so it's hard to. I mean, it's kind of almost hard to put that into a manageable number.
Yeah,
Or
like Tavernier,
digestible.
like you take away that. I think he had like 1 or 2 monsters. You take that away, and Matoma's
Yeah, he had
blown him out of the water.
back to back 30-pointers.
Yeah. So yeah, it's hard to top Matoma, but I am gonna go with 2 as well. One I have, and one I'm ashamed that I missed out on. Fabian Schär, I did not believe in him at first. I don't think anybody believed in the Newcastle defense. That's why you could have picked up all of them, bar Trippier, in the beginning of the season. But I saw the light early and I traded him in. So yeah, I'm very thankful for that because they just won't stop putting up clean sheets. The other one would be Solly March. I was a year too late on Solly.
Same here.
I loved his ghost the previous year. Injured, didn't get any starts. Didn't think he would this season either, but he has, and he's basically proved all of our analysis right from 2 seasons ago. And just wasn't able to get him. But yeah, he's been a monster.
Sort of a flat track bully.
Yeah. I haven't.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So 23 against Everton, 31 against Southampton, 11.5
Don't you
against
dare.
Wolves. 11.5 against Wolves. Yes,
Bitch.
he did have an assist against City. But then, his other major scores came against like Nottingham, Brentford. I don't know.
But off the wire, I mean.
Oh no, for 100%. I'm trying to like kind of conceptualize.
That is worse than I had thought. So yeah, that's fair.
He's like we'll talk about another guy who is just bossing it, absolutely bossing it. But for me, when I watch the game and I look at the scores, he's very similar to how Trippier gets his scores. Like he just gets these steady scores of 1, 2, 3, 4 coming in all the way through the game.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys that like you can't pinpoint that. Like you see a Foden, you'll see an Odegaard. Maybe Odegaard is a bit like this, but you see a Martinelli is a good example. Like they'll have like an attack with a dribble and a cross and a key pass, and then it comes out, and then a shot on target, something like that. They'll have a stretch of like 5 minutes when they get 8 points, and then not get any for 35 minutes. It's not Solly March gets them like a metronome. He just gets them all the way through.
Oh yeah. No, I hate facing him. It's the worst because if you're one of those people who follows the scores while you're watching the matches. I know you're not, Ryan, but he'll
perfect
just
advert for not doing that.
It's paper cuts the whole match.
Yeah,
and by
exactly.
the time it's over,
exactly.
he's got 17, and you're like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, and you're watching the game, and you're like, you miss out, or you're not following the scores for like 20 minutes, and you're like, he's done nothing. And he in that 20-minute stretch, he got like 6 points.
It's the worst.
It's fantastic. Any other ones? Honorable mentions?
You didn't give yours, Joe.
Do I have one? No, I don't have one. I don't have one for this one.
I think Pereira is a good shout. I hated him because of his United background, and then he did nothing at Valencia too, which is another stain. But he's come in and done really well at Fulham. Another kind of weird flat track bully. He scores in bunches. I just traded him in, so I'm hoping that
bunches come
Smooth
comment.
sailing, yeah. Bunches of oats from here on out.
Yeah, I like Somerville as well. I think he's a decent one. Still not one of those established guys. Like you'll be able to see him on the free agency, in smaller leagues or in leagues that don't pay that much attention. But he should definitely be rostered, and I think he's a good future ahead of him.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
Yeah.
Good kid.
And that name, my God.
Bright future.
Yeah.
Crescentia. Should be like in The Merchant of Venice or something.
It's impossible to fail with a name like Crescentia, I feel like. Maybe I'll throw Alex Iwobi out there. Just as like a random little kind of one of the. I know he hasn't.
Did he
been
get drafted in a lot of
I
leagues?
wouldn't think so.
I don't think
he was available
Yeah.
early.
And he has cooled off considerably, I think, aside from a week here and there. But he's cooled off a little bit since like November, like early November. But man, at the beginning of the season, he was one of those guys that people would just pick up, and suddenly you find yourself against a Iwobi and you sort of like laugh. You know, you sort of giggle to yourself and smirk, and then unfortunately he's making you pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Huh. All right. Cool. I like it. Waiver wire pickups. Okay. Well, let's talk about actual draft picks. So we've mentioned a few times, I think, this year, valuable draft picks, guys who went far too late, guys who, were quote unquote a steal in the draft. But who's your nominee for like the best draft pick of this year?
I mean, anything other than Kieran Trippier is a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
he's a cheat code.
I think he's still top, even after that City game. Yeah, I think it's him, Holland, and KDB, and he's still top, which is nuts. Yep. So yeah, anything other than him in like the third round is a lie. But other than him, I think Martinelli has been electric, and I'm just like, it's one of my biggest regrets not picking him up in any of my leagues. I was worried at the time about because there were rumors abound about Arteta trying to get another left winger like Rafinha, or someone of that ilk, and I just thought that there would be rotation with Martinelli, but yeah, that deal didn't come off, and he's been nailed on and doing his thing. So yeah, I gotta say Martinelli in the fourth round has been quite a steal.
Yeah,
very much so. Yeah,
very, very much so. Yeah. What do you think, Tidy? Who about for you?
Yeah, I'm on Trippier as well. Obviously, Haaland. We were all quite low on him going into the draft season. By low, I mean outside of the top 10, and obviously he's proved us wrong.
Yeah.
In that sense, I think there's a lot of value to be had. In mid rounds that some people would call like the best draft pick or value picks, but there's still a lot of season to be played. So I'd still reserve judgment. Like I wanted to put Mahrez in our next category, the worst draft pick, and Mahrez is a second rounder, but he's coming into his own recently, so
right,
he's Mahrezing right now.
He's Mahrezing. He's in that eight match spell that he just lights it up, and then he'll go back to Mahrezing again, just the other type of Mahrezing. So I'll still reserve judgment. I doubt these top three, Trippier, Haaland, and Martinelli, will fall away, even if they come back down to earth a bit, fall away that much that they'll be out of the conversation at the end of the season. For the mid-rounders, I would still reserve judgment.
I mean, prior to the injury, I would have put Jesus up there too, because he was putting in top 5 numbers. I mean, he
Yeah.
stock was inflated a little bit at right before drafts. But I still was able to get him at the very end of the first round, and that was definitely value prior to the injury. But because of that, yeah, you can't include him with these other guys.
I mean, you have to include Mitrovic. Like,
the two guys, I think, Ivan Toney and Mitrovic.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tony's suspension is up in the air, but yeah, he's top 5 right
Even if
now.
he didn't play another game, I think he already rewarded managers for that 3rd round pick.
Yeah, exactly. And the same with Mitrovic with a 5th rounder.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one where it's kind of we've already said our mea culpas on that one, but yeah, I think the community by and large had kind of like ranked far too low, just in our collective like mindset. But yeah, there were some who were way high on him, and they actually I remember people getting shamed for taking him too early. People would comment on drafts, rate my draft or whatever, and people would comment and say Mitrovic too early. And yeah, they were laughing as early as the 2nd or 3rd week.
Hmm.
Had Matty Cash above.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. But there's like the likes of Rodrigo or Eze, or Che Adams for that matter. 31st
Start on Che.
31st overall. Ahead of Darwin Nunez, Joao Cancelo, Wilf Zaha. So yeah, there's a lot of players who have been incredible value from the mid to end rounds, but we will do some reflection at the end of the season as well, but
soul searching
as well.
We always
do. At a retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of players who represented very good value. There is a perfect draft out there that I'll have a look during the off season to map out for our draft coverage next season.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I think I went against the closest I've seen this week. In as the aforementioned our friend Ollie, Cancelo, Mount, Chilwell, Martinelli, Callum Wilson, Mitrovic, Joe Linton, Diogo Dalot, Nico Williams were his first 9 picks.
Cancelo, Mount, and Chile though are
duds,
but yeah, I mean, still having all of them is quite
You
impressive.
Can't call Cancelo a dud.
I think you can at 7.
Well, okay,
that's
sure.
where he was drafted.
Yeah. But like generally, in his value for Ollie's team, he's been fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I say this having just traded him out in a different league, but it's
well. Then you should gloat.
No. I'm gonna lose to him this week, so I'm not clearly not gloating.
Yeah, but not because of Cancelo, mind you.
Right. Yeah,
but no, that's quite an impressive roster.
It's a good draft. Yeah, it's hard to find a really good draft because a lot of these players are so off the wall, even just in terms of like their prospects to start, right? And so we were all just kind of in the dark in terms of like look at a player like Almiron, right? Nobody saw him keeping his spot once the consortium took over, and he just didn't think he had the skill, he had the value there to keep his spot once those high dollar sign players started coming in. And, now they'd be a fool to drop him.
By consortium, you mean the Crown Prince?
The Crown Prince, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but they're totally separate entities, Ryan.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, there's clear division of labor there.
Exactly. Thank you. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Worst pick is more fun, I think.
Worst pick in general?
Yeah.
Or my worst pick?
No, just in general. Yeah, because God, I don't want to dig that up.
I thought we were doing our own. I thought we were.
We will the next one.
Oh,
the next one's a personal one, and it's more disappointing. It's not worst.
Okay. All right. So just worst pick overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Son.
Yeah.
It's up there.
I mean,
got-
he was like 1 through 3
Yeah.
consistently. There were people making the argument for 1.
I got KDB at 3 because the guy at 2 took Son.
Same.
Dude, I was pumping
exactly
the
what
dude at
happened to me,
1
buddy.
Son, pro Son stuff all summer, just so he would take Son at 1, and I could either get Salah or KDB, but he took Salah and I took KDB. But the
Oh man.
third person, I mean, I put in like a massive propaganda effort. It ended up paying off, but like in a different way.
That's quite the labor for you as well. I mean, you had to read all those articles. You had to.
I mean, not to mention the mock drafts I joined and picked Son first so that he would
Oh
be.
Lord!
Yeah, I put in
You had
the
to sully your
hard
Twitter
yards.
timeline.
Yeah,
Yikes!
so it all paid off. Just seeing him miserable is enough.
I mean, so where do we? What sort of allowance do we make for injuries here? Right, because you look at like a Luis Diaz, clearly.
I put him in there because of the fact that not only the injury, when he did play, he wasn't that great either. He only had basically one game, that game against Palace with that worldie, that he proved that he had first or second round quality. The rest were just middling games.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't blame full on injuries for this.
Right. So you're
Like,
not putting like Reece James in this category. You're not putting
Nah, that's harsh.
Jota.
No, I think for me the top 3 are Son, Mount, and TAA.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
All 3 of them potentially first rounders, and they have just shat the bed.
Shat the proverbial bed.
Yes.
Yeah. Mine was Ronaldo.
Love that.
It was literally the first thing that came to mind because I just had to chuckle. But yeah, just actually, I'm looking at the third round here. What about the man who is on his own wilderness retreat, Jadon Sancho?
It's Into the Wild.
Yeah, he's doing his own ayahuasca vision quest.
He's gonna come back with a bushy beard and
His Landon Donovan
Yeah.
introspective voyage.
I mean, hey,
hand drawn tattoos.
right?
I told you guys he's going to his Dagobah system, John.
Right. Trying to lift some
Stones
I
with
was
his
going to
mind.
say TIE fighters, X-wings, lift some X-wings out of the swamp.
Yeah, he needs to get himself out of the mud.
And
That's definitely a shot for Sancho,
Yeah.
for sure. Third round's like 0 output.
Oof.
yeah,
Just brutal.
I drafted him and I traded him out after that one game
Good
that
for
he
you.
Against
scored.
United. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Brilliant. The perfect trade eye. What'd you get for him? Dog
Robertson.
shit, probably.
Robertson.
Robertson.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, that's decent. Although he's been
Yeah.
he's been shit. But
No, but people gave up on him, which maybe they are again now. Hard to say. Liverpool just maybe worst draft pick is just Liverpool in general.
oh man, yeah.
Maybe we'll just say that. Yeah, or maybe that's my own most disappointing. All right, well, let's move on to that. So your own most disappointing pick. Time to reach within and really just make yourself feel bad all over again. Ryan, your own worst pick.
Yeah, not surprising in the slightest, but Pedro Neto in the fourth.
That's mine too.
I had such high hopes for him. Finally healthy. Another year with Bruno. Just he had a good rationale going into the season, and then it all just went to shit. And like to think of, I probably could have gotten Martinelli at that pick. Like I was over the moon about getting him in the fourth.
I know. It seemed like such a value.
Yeah, so disappointing.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting. And man. Did he ever show it at all this year?
Not really. I mean, he had the first game he had. I want to say like
Looks
double
like
digit
14.
ghost points. Yeah,
against Leeds.
And I was just like, all right, yeah, it's on. And then a couple meh games, and then the injury, and you're back to square one.
You're done.
Yep.
Man.
I wonder if he comes back and does anything this season. But yeah, he's put himself firmly in that category of just made of glass. Like these multiple injuries are just killing him. And he's still a young dude, and he's still got a chance. But like, if he keeps this up, like it's just going to be a wasted career, which sucks because he's gives it all, and he's a great player, but he just can't stay fit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Toddy, your worst pick.
Well, I was struggling with this because I make a few trades.
I thought you were going to say because
season.
I don't have bad picks.
No. I have
I'm
a lot.
disappointed in any of my picks.
I have a lot of bad picks.
Oh, man.
Like I think Jota is a similar category as Neto. He was drafted injured, came back, did a few bits, and then injured again. So it's a similar mold. I drafted, as I mentioned already, I drafted Sancho, but got rid of him, so he's not like pushing my internal organs to show him up in this category. Same with Son. I drafted Son as well, and then traded him out for Diaz. So
somehow lost a trade out on Son.
Somehow lost a trade out on Son. But for me, when I was thinking about this, for me it was the perfect bad draft pick was Matt Doherty in the 5th.
In the 5th, okay.
Because I was like, in the 5th, I was expecting him to like maybe go into timeshare with Emerson Royale somehow, but still when he plays, put up really good numbers, and it was all going well during the off season, and the hope was so eternal that I actually held him until like 2 weeks before the World Cup. And obviously now he's back and he's better than ever. But he'd sat on my bench for like 15 game weeks, doing literally nothing.
Yep.
Literally nothing for me, and me not getting any information. And lo and behold, the way that he came in was the reason why I held him. Like, he came in without being announced, without him like coming in every now and again as a sub and doing well, and then after 3 sub appearances he did well and got the starting gig. He just 1 week he wasn't even on the bench, and the next week he started. And that's what I was fearing. Like, that's why I didn't drop him, because I was expecting some sort of shit like that.
And then this week he was the 2nd highest scorer in the entire league.
Exactly. And the last 2 weeks he's done like 15 ghosts or something like that. So that's why he's the worst, like most disappointing draft pick, because either way you look at it, like maybe, and I'm gonna go full meta on this, like, it's not him that was the worst draft pick. I was the worst draft manager to pick him. Because if I like,
you gotta turn the mirror back on yourself.
Exactly. If I saw that he wasn't starting and I dropped him in like game week 2, who cares? I would have forgotten I had him. Had I held him until after the World Cup, I would have been over the moon. He's back. He's scored 50 points in 3 games. He is the Doherty of old. Wolves Doherty is going to be top scoring defender rest of the season.
Sure.
So it's not Doherty who was the worst draft pick.
It alternative villain?
Totti who was the worst draft manager.
You have an
Maybe
alternative villain for us. I think I know who it might be.
Maybe Antonio Conte bears the blame.
He bears all blame.
Yeah. Other than CDMs, he's ruined everybody.
I was gonna say not
Kane.
necessarily the week to disparage Conte. Last week would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know. A second half against a struggling Palace doesn't paper over the cracks for me.
Since I went with my home league mates for a weekend of EPL action, and the vote that was taken decided on watching Spurs against Everton, and I had to suffer through that. Since then, I have no sympathy for Spurs or Conte.
Out of that vote.
I was like, I've been chipping away at their points ever since I'm the commissioner.
What were the alternatives? Not that it matters. Like, I'd rather watch Southampton and Brentford.
It was. I'll tell you because it's actually good.
I shouldn't even bring this up, but Ryan, you and I have watched a Spurs game together.
Yes.
Toddy was there as well.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
Oh God,
no! Don't even. That was worse from a different standpoint.
That was worse from a Liverpool standpoint.
Yeah. Okay.
Us too. If you would have done that, we would have gotten top 4, I think. But
right.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No. How could you with this year? Yeah, the way things are going.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one sec. I'll tell you the.
Any game would have been better.
Any game would have been obviously any
would have gone. Yeah, would have gone to a lower league, not straight up.
Yeah, but no, it was. So the alternatives were available to us in London. Would have been Fulham against Bournemouth 2-2.
Okay, at least there's goals.
Which would have been much better.
and Craven College is awesome. Great place.
That was maybe the only one. We could have, if we could have gotten tickets, we would have gone to the Brentford Brighton game, which was 2-0, which was decent. But it was like I voted for the Fulham Bournemouth game.
Nice, cheaper too, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Then would have seen Issa Diop score as well.
Nice.
And Jefferson Lerma.
Check those off your bucket list. If I could only see Jefferson Lerma score in person.
Then get a red card.
Yeah. I have checked off Ronaldo and Messi, and he would have completed the bingo.
The trilogy, right. Yeah.
I haven't checked off Ronaldo, so I guess I'm gonna have to go to South Africa as Ronaldo.
If only it was South Africa.
I know, right?
I don't think I've seen Ronaldo either. Huh.
Yeah.
I've seen Messi a bunch, but so I'm fine.
Definitely haven't.
But, let's go to Saudi. Draft a Palooza in Riyadh.
Nice.
Yeah. No. Anyway, my most disappointing pick. I don't want to talk about it too much, especially after today. I was over the moon to get him in the second round. This is, of course, Raheem Sterling. All right, let's move on.
Enough said.
Oh, God. All right. Just disaster.
We've talked Sterling enough, I think.
Yeah. What a disaster.
For a lifetime.
Just imagine, he falls to you, what? I was the 5th pick in the second round, and he was going earlier than that in every draft. I was so excited. And yeah. We all know what happened.
Yeah. Genie changed his mind.
Genie changed his mind.
Oh yeah. Dude, I remember him telling me to take Sterling every time my draft went into the second round. I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yep. Should have listened.
Should have listened to newer Genie.
Newer Genie. Retired Genie.
Yeah.
Genie's gained some perspective since he retired. Hung it up.
Yeah. It's on a beach in Cuba, just kicking it.
Faked his own death. Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's talk favorite performance. I'm assuming you mean fantasy performance by this, Ryan. Although I'm sure yours is.
Yeah,
probably...
I mean, it's you probably can do a twofer here.
Yeah.
Gabby Jesus against Leicester was awesome. I mean, he should have had more. But yeah, he got a brace, I want to say. And then I think he dropped like 30 points. It was beautiful goals. Yeah, that was like early on in the season, right in his, I'd say his peak. He went on a little bit of a goal drop, but still was doing the biz for the team. But yeah, that was an awesome game, and yeah, just loved. It was early doors, so we were just like, is he going to do a job for us? And it was just like, man, this guy's awesome. So, yeah, that was mine. And for fantasy purposes, it was like one of his just monsters.
That's a really good shout. Yeah, that's solid.
Mine will be even less of a surprise. I think it's the Bournemouth game where
everybody got 60 points.
No.
Salah got 8, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I played against Trent that game, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me! Of all the games to play against shit Trent this season.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was my home league El Clasico against my biggest rival.
Nice.
And he like in the matchup, I think he put up like 130 or something like that against me, and then came Roberto Firmino and just annihilated him. With a 53-pointer, just absolutely annihilated him, which was awesome. Yeah, 137.5. There was a losing score.
Yep. There it is.
Yep. So yep, Bobby Firmino, 53 points. He's now customary yearly monster.
Yeah, I mean. Put it in your calendar app. You can expect it. You just don't really know when.
Yeah.
But
if it's down to Tifo next year, it's going to be for Arsenal.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Ryan,
totally.
that would be poetic justice.
It would be
I would
so
love
much.
So much.
I would want him to go there. If he left Liverpool, I'd want him to go there.
I would never see him in a shirt. He'd be injured in preseason.
That's ridiculous. How dare you? I would drive to DC on the day that Arsenal sign him just to watch the unveiling with you.
I would clearly evade your pursuits. Be at the bottom end of a bottle.
Driving away on his death scooter.
Yeah, that'd be the one day I just drink too much and just take my scooter over the edge.
Yeah. Well, you blame it on the drink, but really,
yeah,
it's Bobby. Mine is actually more fantasy related than it is personal. But this is at least what I thought early on in the season was going to be the justification of my strategy of waiting a little bit on forwards. So it was August 13th, and Leeds were at Southampton. And this game ended in a 2-2 draw. But you might remember one Rodrigo Moreno scoring 2 goals with 3 key passes, 3 shots on target, ending with a grand total of 31.5. And I thought I was a genius.
You are, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, I think you are.
I mean, granted, like early on, right? Started the season.
Another guy we were 1 year
on
late.
Fire. Yeah. 12.5, 31, 22, and then cooled off for quite some time, about a month.
Deserved his month off, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. He earned it at that point. Yeah, he had to make. What he did is he cooled off just to make way for Jesse Marsh, because if they were scoring so much, obviously it wouldn't have put the wheels in motion to bring in, as the Brits call him, Ted Lasso.
The net.
The net. Oh, good days. All right, last award. Ryan, I like this. Most insufferable aspect of this season.
This was such an easy one for me, having just gone through it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the teams with city stacks, like, I get it. Yeah, just suck up as many players from one team as possible. The most attacking team in the league, but one, I just don't think it would be very fun to have that team, because
it's not. I can tell you.
So, like, I mean, part of the reason why we play this game is not to, robotically get all the best players from that one team. It's to, like, give us reasons to watch these other games. And so getting a city stack, just, I don't think it would be very fun. And two, it's just so insufferable to play against, because you're just like, I mean, some weeks are just ridiculous. And then when they get like 3 or 4, and then your league mates trade them the rest so that they have like complete coverage, it's just like, oh God, I freaking hate it.
Yeah.
And I just went against one, and it was lovely having the Chelsea game, because I had KDB, and I was like, amazing. I went up against, I think, 6 City players, and none of them did shit.
Well,
so
there are those weeks, but they're rare.
Yeah. No, for sure. That just makes it so frustrating.
Yeah.
So that's mine, especially now with Haaland, and he just makes everybody better. So previously you could have legislated against that. There's, I don't know, more rotation around that, but now he's nailed on. It's just like, it makes it even easier to city stack. So they got theirs today, and I loved it.
Yep.
I did.
Toddy, how about you? Insufferable.
For
Not
me,
you personally, but this season.
For me, I one that is less insufferable, but made me melancholic. Is the relentless nature of the Newcastle players just scoring points. It's just like 6, 7. I have no idea how many years of fantasy has told me not to expect points from Newcastle players on my opposition's team.
Sure.
And this season, they have just come so relentlessly, so unapologetically, and so like clockwork.
Yeah.
But it's not insufferable. It's just something that has stuck with me as an aspect of this season in particular. Insufferable has to be the Liverpool defense.
Oh yes.
And the sustained hope that they will do something.
Yeah.
Which they have not. Like, I think we talked about this in the Draft Society Twitter chat, that Matip is on 5 points for the season or something like that.
That's crazy.
How many starts?
I'll check.
Oh,
Maybe it's just an urban legend, but it does seem correct.
5.25.
5.25, and like, even if it's just one start, 5.25 is
One
very
star. Yeah. I promise you, it's more than that. Wow, that is crazy. Games played, it says 7. I can't see starts. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 5 that he went more than, say, 45 or whatever.
Yeah.
But still, just
5 points.
Wow. Oh.
Yeah. That just sums up the Liverpool D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, dropping 3 to a Tony-less Brentford, that was where I draw the line.
Yeah. Well, that's a good line to be drawn. Like
I said it before the game. I was like, if they concede to a Tony-less Brentford, I'm going to lose my shit. Because I picked up TAA. But
Yep.
Yep.
And they proceeded to concede 3.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yep.
Trent got his first assist of the season, thank God. But otherwise, Jesus.
Just to shock and that's all. More shock. Joel Matip has exactly the same number of points as Nat Phillips.
That's amazing. I love that for Nat.
How many minutes does Nat have? What, like 13?
Natty Ice has I'll tell you.
God, he's the best.
He has 64 minutes, and Matip has 482 minutes.
Unbelievable.
And he definitely, he ghosted all of those 5.25. He did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He has 0 clean sheets, surprisingly.
What an Adonis. Nat Phillips is.
Maybe the VVD injury opens up the
Yeah,
cooler for a bit more ice.
I think it's probably Konate, unfortunately, but
but
could be Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez did well. He has 80 points.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I completely glossed over that. Opens up the cooler for a bit more ice. That's
Thank you, Jesus.
Fantastic. Thank you. Nice job.
Teed that up. No payoff.
And it isn't even 1 in the morning for you.
Yeah. Yep. By the way, I was trying to trade. I was trying to trade with somebody. I'm gonna blank on who it was. Oh no, it was at FPL Wankers. And he's in my IGL league. And if you don't follow him, do. But basically, we were trying to figure out a trade between the two of us, and I told him Joe Linton. Like I wanted Joe Linton in the trade, and he said, "I just can't let him go. You see, my friends and I have this tradition where anytime he scores, we shotgun a beer." And I was like, "Well, I would not want to deprive you of that tradition. Like I absolutely understand that completely. So let's move on. We'll talk other guys. That's fine."
So they're like the Avengers. Wherever they are, they just like come together and shotgun a beer when Joe Linton scores.
It seems that way. Yeah.
I mean, he could still shotgun a beer if Joe Linton wasn't on his team, though.
I know, but it's not as special, you know.
He finds out that he scores in other ways as well. I assume.
when he plays me.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, he does not score that many goals, so they are an abstinent bunch.
Yeah. My answer for this question, most insufferable aspect of this season, is also a team. And I thought maybe it was going to change, in the previous few weeks, especially before the World Cup. I think you know where I'm going with this. But recently we've absolutely seen that no, it's just going to continue to be just an absolute shitstorm. And that, of course, is Leicester. So for me, it's just been trying to play any Leicester assets at all.
Oh, yeah. Fifth rounder Harvey Barnes was he's one of those who I'm still keeping, unlike Doherty. So he was close to being my worst draft pick. Yep. I don't blame you for saying drop.
Anyway, yeah, so that's mine. If I'm gonna have a gripe, there's a few more. My other I
thought you were gonna say Chelsea.
I thought so too.
Yeah. No,
because Leicester had their mini renaissance.
That's a given. But
should have priced in Chelsea.
Right. No, I mean, so the other thing for me was there seems to be very few set and forget players this season. And so for me, it's been a little bit frustrating, especially a week like this when I'm teaching a class, right? And I'm trying to figure out lineups when I can steal a second away on my computer, and it makes for a really tough time like setting lineups, just trying to figure out exactly what to do, because you just can't depend on your guys as much as you used to be able to, it feels like, for me. Maybe that's just my own kind of personal experience, but I feel like that's basically, I feel like a lot of people are dealing with that, where teams aren't necessarily strong enough to weather the good teams and still put up decent performances, and it's like very dependent on matchups now, more than it maybe feels like it used to be. Again, maybe it's just me.
I'm not sure. I haven't clocked that, but that may be because I try to not draft and have players who are set and forget, because they are usually the low ceiling, high floor guys. So I usually go for the other type. But yeah, that may well be the case.
Yeah. No, I feel like the variance between scores for the vast majority of the league is a lot higher this year. I don't know how I would vet that, but I feel like it's true in my heart.
Your heart is always right, Joe.
You know who we missed? You know who we forgot about in the worst draft picks? Jared Bowen.
Fortunately, I don't have him anywhere. So
same, but I was just looking at.
He just every time we do ranks, I just check him out and then just bump him 10, 15
down.
places.
Exactly. Yeah, that's wild. Okay, cool. Well, let's put a bow on the end of year / mid-season awards. I love it. We're gonna stick with the title, the name, because it's just so.
I mean, the draftees has already been taken and trademarked, so rolling
fine
with this.
It's not a big deal. All right, shall we do a quick last straw, showcase a few players that we're almost done with.
Cue the music.
But that's the last straw.
All right, Ryan, kick us off.
Oh, painful one, straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
Geddes and Adama. I had high hopes for Lopetegui. Comes straight in and starts Hwang his first 3 games. Like, are you kidding me? Neither of them could get a start over the festive season. 3 games in basically a week and a half. Neither of them can get a start. Get the F out of here. Dropped Geddes in one league. Held them both in another, just for nostalgia purposes. Good matchup against West Ham at home this weekend. If you're still holding and neither of them start, see you later.
Yeah.
Because it's Cunha's coming in. He can play any of those positions. It doesn't seem like it's going to get any better, barring injury. So, unfortunately, yeah, took an L on these two, unless something drastically changes. So,
but you know what's funny is Hwang was yanked before 60 in 2 of those matches.
Yeah, no, he's just like a placeholder to, like,
right,
distract the defenders until Adama can come on and freaking dribble his ass off. But it's like, that doesn't help, for fantasy purposes.
Yeah, and he still has a beef with Opta.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the Adama of old anyways.
Right.
Those dribbles aren't showing up
being
on
counted.
my Fantrax score.
It sounds like a conspiracy, to be honest.
I've said that about him and
conspiracy if it's true.
Tierney.
Is it a conspiracy if it's true? Nice. Good point. All right. Okay. I'm with you on those, by the way. I dropped Geddes, unfortunately, in both of the leagues I had him this week, because I just had to field a team.
Yeah. I get the sense that it's like maybe Pep's been talking about body language as the main reason for his lineups lately. So I feel like it might be a body language type of issue. I mean, Geddes can look a little like Ozil-like and languid, and maybe he just seems like he's not up for the fight, but he's so much better than Hwang. I can't begin to tell you the levels to this, but I mean, if he's not liked by the manager, then there's nothing he can do. So, adios.
Yep. All right. What else you got?
Anthony Martial. I mean, I never got the straw to begin with, so don't have to get rid of it. But I mean, I would imagine that folks are pretty fed up by Tony, and that was like during the best run of fixtures that they could have had. Now it starts to get a little tougher with City and Arsenal coming
Forest,
up. So
Wolves, Bournemouth.
Yeah. And what did he get?
12.5 with a goal. 12.5
Classic.
with a goal. 3.5.
None of his trademark negative 0.5, so there's hope. Needed that other dispossession in the 0.5 game.
Right.
It's too bad.
Yeah. He headlined in the tweet that I sent out, asking the draft community to come up with a name for these types of strikers, whether it be Kai or Martial, Zaha on his week, these types of guys, obviously, right? The Neil Maupay's, as you mentioned, Ryan. And if you haven't seen that, I will pin it to my profile.
Great thread.
Go check it out. They are brilliant. And what I want to do is I actually want to do like an elimination type of bracket so we can figure out what we want to call these guys. But there's been some amazing answers so far. Just to pick some out of thin air here. Sharp Pargament, Sharpest Tool wants to call them Akbars because it's a trap, which I love that. False Hope 9.
Also, there was like an acronym for Akbar as well, wasn't it?
Not for Akbars,
No.
it was MIAs. Martial, Ings, Antonio. yeah, that's also solid. Ross Barkley, at Ross Barkley, RAW Sparkley. False Hope 9, which is brilliant as well. There's a lot on there. You got to check it out. It's real good. It's real good. And then Toddy, of course, just responded my fantasy forward line. So yeah, get over to my profile at JWell Draft. Check it out. I'll pin it right now so people can check it out. But it's pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, Martial is leading the list in these types of forwards, ones that can pop up with an attacking return. When he does, he's giving you 11.5, and then he'll go 3 to 5 weeks posting between -1 and 2, and somehow play like the majority of the match.
Yep.
And they surely are looking at forward options in January window.
You'd think so, right? Yeah.
They know from the last 8 years. 8 years he's been at Man United that he's not the answer.
I mean, he does so well when he leaves. So, so there's
Gets
that.
injured, has to cancel the loan. It's nice.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, other ones?
Todd, do you want to do this one?
I can. I don't think Firmino's droppable YOTV on the last draw.
When's the last time he started?
Before the World Cup.
And they just signed another person in his position?
November 12th. He scored 13 points because he scored a goal.
It's not like the attack is working much better than the defense.
True.
I'd still wait. Like there's a 2-week break now for EPL, or 1.5 week. If he's not on the bench at least for the next game week, I would consider dropping. Yeah. Okay, so that's the last straw.
Do you think he has trade value right now? Would you be like potentially betting on that maybe happening and trying to get ahead of it by trading him out right now? His PPM looks great. It's on paper. And he doesn't have the fractured flag.
No.
He still just has the regular flag.
I
don't know what the market is for him.
I wouldn't think there's a huge market for him.
No.
Like I'm trying to buy low on him and ASM together, but offering like Paqueta feels too much
Yes.
for the two of them.
Oh, for the two of them? No.
Yeah. Why? ASM is not.
He could very well be in this conversation, not to drop, but like, given how well Newcastle is doing without him, like, is there a role for his flicks and tricks in a Eddie Howe team that's just very workmanlike and, you know?
Is there a role for Saint Maximin? Yes.
Why?
I still believe he's the like one of the top 3 players on that team in terms of talent.
Yeah, but
can't argue with results without him.
I agree. I just
he
think
he has not started a game since August.
That's
nuts.
nuts.
Insane. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, man. I mean, when are we going to have this tough conversation?
Exactly. Like, and he's been
healthy for a bit, right?
Yeah, he is. He's been on the bench and contributing a sub for the last 3 games after the World Cup, but he was on the bench and came on for 16 minutes in beginning of November, end of October. So, yeah, he's been around. He's been there. He's
wandering the earth.
Yeah,
just not getting starts.
The Gucci headband is there.
Huh. Interesting. Man. That's one I would be tempted to buy ultra low on.
Yeah.
But it gives me such Adama vibes. You remember like last year, Adama?
Yeah, they're basically the same player.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
Super sub
as well, and like Ryan said, Newcastle are just clicking without him.
If it ain't broke.
If it ain't broke, why fix it?
I'm looking at kind of like several Newcastle supporters right now on Twitter just posting about him, and it seems like the consensus is like they think he's going to get his shot against Sheffield Wednesday this weekend, and they're thinking that if he doesn't like just really put them to the sword, that he's doomed to a life on the bench.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's crazy to think, and I'm trying to think like who does he sub on for? Willock?
Yeah.
Joe Linton?
Willock.
Yeah. To be kept on the bench by Joe Willock is lovely.
Now, my question, actually, real quick, Ryan, is: have you?
I'm almost last straw with Joe Willock.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, wait, you went back to the Joe Willock well?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
After last year, how dare you?
Dude, it was right before his little purple patch, like his string of 18 pointers, and now he's back to his 5 pointers. So it was fun while it lasted. Free off the wire. I was like, what the hell? I needed a mid depth. And yeah. 18 and a half, 18, 6, 4, 5. Ugh.
Yeah.
The 4 against Leeds was brutal.
Right.
Expecting a lot more there.
But even before that, he hadn't eclipsed 5 since early October.
It was the 18 and a half and 18s that sucked me in.
It always does.
Here we are, yeah.
It always does.
His little goal patch.
And the teats are dry, but you keep sucking them.
Yep, exactly. Oh man.
Me and Harvey Barnes, but there was
You
no
and Harvey Barnes. Yep. You
But
and Harvey Barnes.
the teats have been dry for years.
Yeah. Me and Rian Brewster.
Yeah, I'm like going to college, but still.
Speaking of Sheffield, no, he's at Sheffield United,
United,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is he still? I don't honestly know.
Yeah, they may have sent him down to League One.
Just to get some minutes.
Yeah. Next
Send
big
him on
thing.
a loan as like a 26-year-old or something.
Yeah, he's still at Sheffield United. 16 matches. Want to guess how many goals?
16 matches, you said?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be charitable and say 3.
1. 1 goal,
Yeah.
1 yellow card.
1 goal, 1 yellow. Sure. All right. Okay.
He's doing well though.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Anyway.
Fellas, I need to jump off, unfortunately.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's late.
It's late. It's 1:45.
Yeah.
So, yep.
It's been fun. We appreciate you. Ryan and I'll close it out.
Okay,
Yeah, good night, brother.
Cheers. See
All
you
right, man.
guys. Bye.
See ya.
Cheers.
All right. So, any other ones you want to mention here, real quick, and then we'll get to just some streamers for Game Week 20.
Yeah, I'll mention Zinchenko solely because I've been calling it all season. Like, awesome in real life, like bosses a game, but he's playing basically as an inverted fullback utility central defensive mid whose sole job is basically to control possession and pass it around. So he's not going to pick up fantasy points. This past game week with the clean sheet got, I think, 7.5. So like,
Ooh.
it's not going to happen. Just get rid of him.
So that's not last straw, though. You're moving on.
I mean, I told you guys. I remember distinctly when I covered the trade advice article game week 2 after his relatively. No, it wasn't relative. It was a great performance against Bournemouth, where I think he got 18 points. I was like, trade out on a high because this is not going to last. Between the injuries and just not performing well most of the time in Fantrax, like he's trading on his name, not worth it. Get rid of him. And absolutely right now. So,
but like it's cool to see like what he means to that team and like
100%.
Yeah,
this is totally in real life versus fantasy.
Of course, the transformation and just the sense of calm and confidence he brings, which is insane. But like you were saying, it wasn't 8.5 or whatever you said. He got 5.75 with a clean sheet.
Oh God!
This week
he must have gotten a. Did he get a yellow? Okay,
yep.
Last one I think. Yeah, right before the game. Well, maybe right before then I saw that he had like 7.5. So
yeah. I'm totally with you.
That is ridiculous.
Is it weird? Is it too wild to think that he might have a little bit of trade value?
No, I think he does. Somehow he has this name value, I think, from City and the fact that Arsenal is doing so well that he's got some weird cachet that like people just don't believe when I tell them that like look at the numbers. So yeah.
Could you get like a Somerville for him maybe?
I think you could. Or like a little bit of fab.
Like that where interesting.
Maybe if you still have him at this point, maybe wait for there's a DGW for Arsenal in 23. That might be the best time to sell him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. Maybe you hope that he gets you like 7 times 2.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if he's getting 5.5 and a clean sheet, like ideally, you're looking at maybe 10 points, and if he plays both and doesn't get injured, so
yeah,
it's an easier trade conversation when you can say, "Hey, he's coming up on a DGW."
Yeah.
So, but I still think you just drop him. But I think you're right. If you're adamant about it, holding on to him, at least wait for the DGW. So
that's also one of those, pull the pin and drop him into the waiver wire and let somebody else.
That's true. And maybe even better for the January window, so you can get people to post some of their fab. That's not a bad idea either.
Oh, and I'd much rather have the bench spot.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, we don't have to discuss him, but we have Tiago, who goes from 13.5 ghost point masterclasses to like 2 or 3. He's just maddening. And then Tadiated Neves, who I didn't think was doing so poorly, 4.5 a game the last 2 months. He's had.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Which I hadn't noticed that. I don't roster him, but I think maybe he's still dining off his early season exploits. But
he's one of those. I mean, that's him though, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you know this is a possibility when you roster him, and especially when you start him. Like, I knew this week that there was a chance that Douglas Luiz was going to get me 1, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you always know that, but there's
yeah.
also a chance that he's going to get you 15.
Because it's pretty analogous. Yeah, that's a good comp because they're both kind of on set pieces, and they have the ability to get monsters, but they also have at the same time the ability to really go anonymous. So
yeah, some days they play more. Yeah, they play more of like the the really just like pivot position, more center defensive mid type of role where and you when you watch the match, same thing with Douglas Luiz. When you watch the match, you see what an absolute like control they have over the game. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to actual fantasy involvement, they're going to always be that hockey assist, the pass before the actual assist.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not dropping him. He's a decent guy to just keep on your bench. He's one of those good, just put him on your bench because he's going to start. You find yourself, 4 games, 6 games into the game week and you're up a creek because, Foden's not starting. Pop him in there.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. I don't think he's droppable. At the least I think he still retains some trade value. So
yeah.
So yeah, no, that's it. We can move on.
Okay. Nice. Well, let's talk game week 20. Do you have any like immediate guys that you're like, not even necessarily pertaining to game week 20, but guys that you are picking up now in anticipation of this kind of longer break that you're hoping either come good, or guys who just got transferred in that you are hoping slip to the wire?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on kind of January arrivals that gone under the radar. Like I've been going back and forth on Shade, or I'm probably butchering that name.
Oh, sure.
That looks like a great prospect, but yeah, knowing Brentford, it's going to be 2 months until he gets a start, if then.
Well, look at Damsgaard, right?
Yeah, so it's like, do I really want to, have him get the sunk costs of that just accumulate after holding someone on the bench for a couple of weeks? Like, I need this space, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
And then with DGW coming up for Tottenham and Man City, like there's of course nobody really for City. Maybe John Stones, who was great today, by the way, and or Rico Lewis, who seems like he might be crazy enough displacing João Cancelo.
I'll believe it when I see it, but
yeah. Like
I said, I did just trade him out, so that'd be fine, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe those two. But tough. Well, first, you probably can't get anybody from City other than maybe those two.
No.
And 2, like the matchups for both of them are really bad. Tottenham has Arsenal and Man City. Like, couldn't get any worse.
Nope.
So, like, maybe Lloris, if you really want to live dangerously and think that he gets enough saves to offset the onslaught. But otherwise, or like Højbjerg, a CDN, one of the 9 CDNs they have.
Yeah, I might play, or if Bentancur is healthy.
Yeah, those are the only 2 that I could, obviously other than...
You got to play your attackers.
Kane and Son, yeah.
So, and then City have Man United and Tottenham, which are also tough matchups. But given the rotation, is anybody really going to play both of them?
I don't even know that's worth.
That becomes tricky when you have someone like a Mahrez or a Grealish, when you're like, he doesn't get the first one, but like you're almost positive he's going to get the second one against Tottenham, but there's always a chance it just goes 2 blanks. So that's when the City stack is
is very tricky, but
Exactly.
yeah, they deserve it.
But then I guess the flip side of that coin is, all right, there's
you
always
know
a
you're gonna
chance.
get-
Well, but then there's always a chance. Let's say you have a Foden again, to go back to him. But let's
Mhm.
say you have him. He doesn't start either one, but maybe he comes in at 70 for
In
both of the
both,
matches, and it's just as likely that he assists or scores a goal or something. You know.
Yeah, I think you got to take, if you just have a couple of those big ones, I think you got to take a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, or else
The
why
iffy
you're
ones are
rostering them.
Yeah. The iffy ones are going to be like Gundogan or guys like that, where you don't quite
Bilva
know.
even.
Yeah, you don't quite know even if they would come off the bench.
Yeah.
Well, and hell, Bilva could be in the last draw conversation. He's been
Exactly. Like even
miserable.
if he does start, he's just been rough. If he's not starting the first one, like you're you're up a creek. So
All right, game week 20. Let's talk about some matchups real quick. I'm looking at Nottingham, Leicester. I'm looking at Villa, Leeds potentially, Wolves, West Ham, Everton, Southampton. Those are kind of the main ones I think that I've got my eye on. Maybe Brentford, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Fulham. Sure, but you're not gonna. There's no Newcastle assets for you to pick up.
yeah, there's no Fulham ones either. Yeah, they all got sucked up by the GGW, and then the Harrison Reeds and De Cordova Reeds are going to go back on the wire. So
Yep. They already have in my league. It's funny.
yeah, I just dropped them myself. That Everton Southampton game is giving me anxiety already because I have Che and Edozie, who on paper it's a good matchup, but Che just put up one
bad
against Forest at home, and I watched most of that game unfortunately, and they just look horrible.
Southampton are so bad.
Like,
How are they so bad?
Che had that first chance in the first 5 minutes, and otherwise, they could have played another 90 minutes and not scored.
Oh,
so are they really gonna get it together, even if it is against a poor Everton?
I mean, I think this is Everton's chance to claw their way, hopefully, out of the relegation heap. This seems to me like
it might be an Everton
3 points for
heavy
them to
game.
take. Yeah.
But I kind of want to just stay away from it if I can.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be forced to start Che. I mean, if you don't start him against Everton, what are we doing?
No, yeah.
But I don't like it.
Yeah. Most of the time, you're going to be streaming mids and defenders, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
Although I guess forwards aren't as deep as we'd like, but still.
In this case, I mean, I think a lot of people dropped Edozie because he didn't start this past game week against Forest. So if he does get a start, he'll probably be on a lot of wires, and he's one of the few that actually does ghost. So
would you wait to pick him up, or would you add him over this 2 weeks?
I probably would add him.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, I think I might too.
Know your league. If you want to save the headache of having to scramble on the wire, if he does start. How early is that game? Is it pretty early in the game week?
10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Okay.
On the Saturday.
Okay, so it's early enough. So easy drop if he's not.
It's in with all of the other, the ones I just mentioned: Wolves, West Ham, Forest, Leicester, Brighton, Liverpool. There's going to be a ton of streamers in that window. So people will have pick of the litter. Basically, there'll be Wolves streamers, there'll be Forest streamers, there'll be Leicester streamers, Brighton potentially, Liverpool potentially, if you want to risk it. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a window that is ripe for streaming.
Yep. Other folks I like, Cheek to Corre. We talked about him previously because he's popped up for a couple really good ghosting performances, but he's finally put together a string of good performances. The last 3, all double-digit ghosts. So this is his cue to drop another 4.5. But he's done the business. So mid-5, great mid-5 pickup right now. I like Danny Ings. I know we had that conversation about MIA, but he's looked great in the past sub appearances, got a goal and should have had an assist the last game. So I think either he's going to get a run of games for Villa or he's going to get loaned out or sold in the window to like a Everton or a Southampton or any other team that needs a goal scorer. So you might be able to buy low on someone like Ings, even though, again, on paper, I don't like how he scores because he's so goal dependent. But if he's free off the wire, like it's not a bad shot.
But he does score goals. Like he
does.
Like he's got multiple games this year where he scored multiple goals, and so you're talking like a game-winning, almost 30-point performance from somebody who, and on the weeks that he doesn't score, he's gonna get you 0.5. But but you're gonna have players who do that. Normally, you're gonna have one or two on your team a week usually that do that. So
during his pomp
risk reward
at Southampton, like you'd take that every couple of weeks, but he would be just as many games with a brace. So like if he gets back to that form, like I'd gladly take the L every couple of weeks if I can get 25. And especially if you can get him off the wire right now. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those wait and sees, but the high risk, low risk, high reward, I should say. At this point, Mark Albrighton, who's in the CNFC Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Love the guy. Came on for KDH, who got injured in the warm up. I know that fucked over, excuse me.
Yeah.
A fair amount of people, but came on, did his brilliant 7.5. Ayoze Perez got 9 too.
Yep.
So yeah,
I streamed Perez.
Nice. Yeah, I shouted him out in GPH I think a couple weeks ago. So yeah, either of them, if you need a mid, can do a job. And then Luke Thomas, who did well, 9 points despite conceding goals.
Yeah,
so, like been ghosting fairly well. So I like that matchup for a fair amount of Leicester streamers. So
and they conceded 2 to Liverpool, and he still had 6.
Yeah.
So I mean, that looks like a good baseline type of guy.
Totally.
Yeah, I like that. That was going to be my main shout out for this week.
Nice. Toddy listed a few.
Yeah.
What is that?
Carney? Really?
Carnegie Hall. It's Carney/Hall. Chelsea, man. Carney did look good. I will say that. He came on.
That was today, right?
Yeah.
So he played 67. He scored 6. Yeah,
against City, that's pretty.
Didn't watch that. Yeah, that is pretty good.
He actually did look. He passed the eye test. Like he was one of the few that could hold their head high after that performance.
But he's like going to be playing CDM, isn't he? I mean, more or less.
No, he was pretty attacking.
Was he really? Okay.
Yeah, a bit more box to box, but he was fairly attacking.
And they have Palace.
Yeah, so I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
He said RAN, but I'm convinced that he's going to leave this window because, I mean, again, the 3 games, he's looked great in his sub appearances, but still hasn't started. He's like in the Adama category of like Lopetegui just really likes him as an impact sub, and I don't see that changing. So I'm not going to fall for that again. I'll believe it when I see it. Aurier, who was vintage Aurier, he dropped 20.
He really did.
Dear Lord.
And they have Leicester, like we just said, and the novel writes itself.
Yeah. No, seriously.
Everybody loves a
list
comeback
Leicester.
story.
Yeah. No, I wanted to stream him against Southampton, but he was taken in both my leagues, so I was like pretty upset when I saw how well he did because I know he still has it in him. And Gnonto, I'm not convinced yet, but he did score well.
Worth maybe a picking up just because like forwards are so thin. Potentially just grab him just in case. Since we're speaking of forwards, we should probably talk about Mr. Ferguson. People will ask, He's already rostered in both of my leagues. He's 8% rostered, up 8.2% somehow in the last since the last waiver wire claim. 13.5 and 17 over the last two matches. I mean,
what do you put down to the random benching of Trossard?
A rest.
Yeah, I mean, nobody else got one.
No, I think Trossard is. I mean, this is my thought, but I think Trossard is so vital to that team. I think Potter sees him very clearly as his best player, and I just think that he
deserve.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Deserves. My bad.
Living in the past, man.
Yeah, I sure am.
You had Potter on the brain
back when Potter was good. No, I think deserves. Yeah, sees him as his best player and most creative, certainly.
Yeah.
Although Matoma giving him a run for his money, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, but it does. Yeah, I mean, it does give you a little pause, but yeah, we'll see if it actually happens again. But had to be pretty rough as a Trossard roster, seeing them drop 4 against Everton and not having a piece of it. But
yep. It sure was.
I was actually disappointed in Matoma's score. I mean, I saw that he scored the first one and then didn't see the rest of the game and saw that they dropped 4, and I was like expecting like a monster, and he just dropped 16. I was just like,
yeah.
So like, as much as I love him, like he needs to start scoring better.
Yeah, he's so isolated sometimes. Like when you watch his positioning, he was so far on that left flank that he just a lot of times he really didn't impact at all the play. I mean, it just didn't come through him. So I don't know.
Yeah, and they might start keying in on him more now that the secret's out. But
right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like other streamers are concerned, Toddy mentions Yohan Wissa. Yeah, why not? Just be prepared for him to give you a 0.5 because he does that. He's got that in his locker for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of him, despite the great performance against Liverpool.
Yeah. He's got the speed though. He's got speed, and he's got that energy about him where he wants to succeed so badly. It's infectious when you watch the guy, and it's. If you want a streamer that you can watch and also just enjoy the fact that he's on your team, he might be one. Then of course Toddy ends it with maybe controversial given the fact that he didn't start and he didn't score any fantasy points, but the Renaissance man himself, guitar playing, skateboarding, Gustavo Scarpa. What's your take on this one, Ryan?
I mean, we've talked about ad nauseum. I mean, seems like an awesome dude to
I know
have a Caipirinha with, but yeah, I don't know. Like the Forest is still very bad, and you're thinking like his ceiling is MGW, who's not doing all of that well.
Yeah, he's got like maybe 7.5 ppm or ppg.
Yeah, so like, well, I want to see how he does, but like I don't have really high hopes for him, but it is definitely a kind of wait and see.
I added him in a league, and I'm sitting on it for now. But
yeah, like it's like kind of a Damsgaard thing. Like how long, if he goes like a run of the next 2 or 3 games, like I think you got to cut bait and just keep an eye out.
I think maybe you add him now, but he's like already on the last straw. Right?
Yeah. Harsh, but yeah, I believe it.
It's what we should have done with Damsgaard to be honest.
Yeah. No, totally. But he was like early in the window that I think people started actually paying Fab for him, whereas with Scarpa you could have got him for free.
Yeah.
So like there's less attachment when that happens.
Right.
So yeah, I'm interested to see how he does, but I don't have really high hopes.
Nice.
I mean, he does a lot of great grinds and kick flips.
Right.
So if I was at a skate park in Nottingham, I would be really hyped about this signing.
Sure. Yeah. I'm sure his serenade game is on point too. But The jury's still out on the pitch.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan. Adios to muchachos and muchachas.
Adios. Good luck this next week. If your game week is still up in the air, it's going to be a long wait for this fated Chelsea Fulham game in 6 weeks. It's going to seem an eternity, but yeah, take advantage of the break. Hug somebody you love.
Yeah, there you go. In the meantime, I hope your team, all of your teams, do well in the League Cup, because, of course, you know that storied tradition. It's always fun. It is, though. It's fun. I enjoy watching the League Cup.
No, totally. It's like it's a welcome break to watch football without like a very weird vested stake. So you just kind of like enjoy the games a bit more, unless your team is playing Oxford United on a Monday and it's not going to be on TV.
Oh man!
But also a good time to like see some fringe players that get a shot. So like Smith might start against Oxford, so I'm excited to kind of see if he's lost a step or two, or to see how fit he is. So like players like that.
Good time to see some movies too. Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, I saw that a couple weeks ago. It was
highly
awesome.
recommend. Yeah.
Very, very nice. And have you seen Avatar, the new Avatar yet?
I've not.
Dude, there's the first 4DX quote unquote movie I've seen. It is wild. It's like it's like being on. So you sit down and it's like a weird seat, and you have this option that says water, no water, and I'm just like, what the hell?
What?
And so I pick water, and like 5 minutes in, you get sprayed with water when there's like a water scene. And I'm like, what the hell? And you move with the seats, like it's like a roller coaster, and you have 3D glasses, and it's just like it's long as shit, and like
that's crazy.
Some of the plot is absurd, but like it's an experience. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
All right. Is it still how Fern Gully adjacent is this one? Is it still pretty adjacent?
Yeah, it's called Way of the Water. So yeah, that's why you get a lot of the water scenes, and it is beautifully shot. I mean, just gorgeous. Like I said, the plot leaves a lot to be desired, but like it's more the experience. And like I said, with the interactive like roller coaster seats and the water and stuff, it's, even though it's long, it doesn't fly by, but like it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it just as an experience.
I like it. And
don't see it as like a regular. Like if they don't have the 4DX option, like I don't know if I want to sit for 3 hours and just watch it.
Wait till it comes to your Disney Plus or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Close it out. I would say go ahead, if you haven't yet, check out Andor.
Yes. I wanted to check in with you because I have one episode left and I don't want to watch it because I don't want it to end. Yeah. I'm so glad you came back on board. How far in are you?
I think I'm 5 now. I'm 5 in.
Oh, dude, that's like
maybe 4. But I have to say, the mistake I made the first time, get past the first 2.
Yep.
Get past the first 2. Just digest what's going on, and then buckle up
from there. Yeah. It's so well done.
Yeah, I have some apologies. I have an apology tour that I have to make on that one.
Yeah.
My best friend from college. He's really disappointed in me.
Yeah, it's so frustrating when you like know you've gotten so far that like it's amazing, but like you totally understand that the first 2 are a little bit of a slow burn.
Right.
But like it pays off, so yeah. So I'm glad you stuck with it, because yeah, I might be watching the finale tonight, and I'm just like it's so bittersweet.
Love it. Ugh. All right, man. I'll talk to you later, listeners. You are fantastic, especially if you made it this far after all that. You're the best. Thank you again to Toddy, who's always incredible. As you heard, he's up till 2 a.m. recording with us, and he's just the best. So thank you again to Toddy. And during this break, if you have any questions, let us know. Add us on Twitter. We'll have a little bit of downtime, so certainly if you have any questions, send them out there. We'll get them around and see if we can't get some more ideas from the draft community on those types of things. This has been the KPC. Listeners, we love you. We'll talk to everyone soon. Cheers.
And cue the record screeching sound. Nothing like starting the podcast off with some audio difficulties. Anyway, sorry about that. Apologies. Let's just skip right to the part where I ask Ryan how his game week went.